If you don't want to make money trading, don't even bother to watch this video. I reckon you should just click off at your earliest convenience, to be honest. But for those that do, good on you. Good on you indeed. Good on you indeed. So the main theme I really want to have elucidated in this video is the importance of sequence of events. Why sequence of events and having a specific framework that you always intend to play towards or play within would always improve your performance as a trader or allow you to be elevated in a sense. Whereas like you're getting closer and closer to becoming the trader that you would really like to become. One that's consistent, one that's calm in his approach, and one that's just quality, you know? You understand? One of those instances, but we move. So I'll be exposing the thought process that I use that allows me to more or less get over what it means to have sequence of events and what sequence of events really mean to me personally and how we use this in my methodology. And the same thought process allowed me to net 8.25% this month, well, last month technically, September 2024 on my Darwinex. Very, very interesting. Really, really interesting indeed. I should have probably like bring up a screenshot, but let me see if I get that edited into this video. But let me just kind of get into it, man. I got like a little notebook next to me with some points that I would like to have related. So the first thing is to identify order flow, and I can just go based on like price action currently at this current time of recording, which is 7:30 p.m. on what the 30th of September. Yes, something calm. Because the same sequence of events that I use in thought process will be used going forward. Let me just do it right now so I don't cherry pick, But the initial motive is to identify order flow. But what really is order flow? What really is order flow? Basic question. To me, order flow is a clear depiction of price's intention. So when you see a clear depiction of price's intention, you know for certain whether or not or the flow will allow you to know for certain whether or not we clear in highs or the target is to play towards heights, or we know for certain whether or not the target is to play or the objective is to play towards lows. Or the flow, as I said just now, merely a depiction of price's actual intention. So what price intends to do, that's the first thought or our first sequence in the whole our first event, sorry, in the entire sequence where it's like trying to figure out what's the objective or what is most likely objective, not with 100% certainty, but as close to 100% as possible. So say for example 80%, 90%. What could I regard as price's objective in such instances? And if you use the current market as an example, we're looking to identify order flow. So we can see like what's price intention. And in these cases where like you're not really sure or you're growing uncertain, go up a time frame. See what the higher time frame is saying. One higher in regards to the interval. So from the 15-minute to the 4 hour. So now it's interesting. So now it's interesting indeed. Because once you go towards a higher time frame, you kind of get a bit more clarity because the candles are less scattered, if that makes sense. Right, say for example you're on the 50-minute, but you're seeing, say for example, four of these candles. Four 50-minute candles is like a 1 hour candle. So whatever happened in this one hour candle is depicted in like four 50-minute candles, and these four 50-minute candles might elucidate something that's crazy to you. And you don't want a situation you operating from a lack of clarity or a lack of understanding or just confusion, to be honest. So in them instances where you feel as though I kind of getting confused or this is kind of getting overwhelming, me just staring at charts on the 15-minute, just head over to 1 hour. Head over to T1 and see what's actually happening. So what I could see currently is that we setting highs, we setting lows, we setting highs again. But I'm not too certain that price is only is gonna just say, for example, mitigate this as a range to play high towards this liquidity, the order flow range liquidity high. Why? If we just zoom out a bit, I'd probably just go on a higher time frame. You can see that Dow on a mad one. Dow traded up to what? Around about 42,500. 42,500, and this could be regarded as an all-time high. So it speaks to me that, you know what? What's the probability or what's the likelihood that we continue moving towards new highs as opposed to, say, for instance, begin retracing or begin, playing towards lows? Like, what's the probability of this actually happening? Or what's the intention or the likelihood of this intention actually playing out? Where it's like, yeah, we going higher, we going lower? Like, in simple terms, that's the real question you should be trying to figure out. Are we going higher, are we going lower? And this is where we use more or less order flow to just explain that, High, low, high again, expected to be a low, but based on, say, for example, my understanding or the methodology, that if we get a bit more granular into price, we can see this is a high, this is a low, and then this is a high as well, and then, say, for instance, this is a low. So within this price line, we can see more or less a couple of things happening, or a couple of ideas or intentions being like elucidated. For example, where this low could be regarded as weight. Yeah, as weight. We just kind of clear out this as an order flow low. Because if you know order flow, we understand order flow. This will represent one leg. This will represent, that's your retracement leg, and this represents, say, another leg. So if we just forget about this bottom bit right here, this is messy. But if we just forget about the bottom bit, then one could only presume that we're operating from this high, this low, and this high as a potential order flow range. So much at the moment this low goes, it elucidates the fact that order flow might probably switch, or not probably, but yeah, order flow probably switch. Or we get a situation where the direction might be changing. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting indeed. Now, the next sequence of event that kind of really important is once you got understanding of, say, order flow, the intention, a price, then it's about trying to figure out how could we use this information and apply it to the components found within the model, or a found trading methodology, for instance. And this is very, go back to the 15-minute to get more information. All right. So we got a situation happening where, by understanding order flow and switches in order flow, very positioned as well, you can see that shorts might be on the cards. But what does it really mean that shorts on the cards, and how could we use this information to formulate trade ideas? It then speaks to, say, for instance, the components of the model. And the components of the model lies within, let me turn off this magnet mode actually. Yeah, let me turn off the magnet mode. Control Z. Components in the model are the flow ranges. That's like one of the main ones, are the flow ranges. And then, say, for example, you go into like those validifying factors. So supporting liquidations, that's a mad ass boy. Well, supporting liquidation and the reverse switching order flow. So the RSOF. So if we just had to be looking at a couple components or three, yeah, just a slight component, one would be the order flow ranges. And the order flow ranges, or the understanding of order flow, completely depicts the entire methodology, because it dictates the entries, the exits, the ranges to play from, the ranges not to play from, along with understanding objectives. When I say that, I mean, let me just remove this a bit. When I say that, I mean, if you just take a look say for example using order flow as a component within a model, we can see this as order flow high, this as order flow low, and how the system is how the system is set up, or the methodology is set up, is that the intention is to play within these bounds, and so it's regarded as a range. One of those instances where you're looking to play or enter from within say 80% or at least 75% of the actual range, and target 0% of the range will represent this order flow range low. But this order flow range low could also be interpreted as like a liquidity low as well. So just understanding the component order flow OFR, that's a bit wild, but OFR, we could kind of understand what it means to be positioned properly at this stage. All right, so we move. And yeah, so we move. What's interesting as well is that we could play within it, like that same 4-step framework that I always speaking about, or the 4-step framework that I spoke about in the last 3, 4, and how much ever videos. Is like, do we really have confirmation that this range can be valid? And if so, what is the actual confirmation? Say for example, we get a bit more granular into order flow. I mean, welcome magnet mode. So now it's like I got the reverse switch and order flow happening. This is very granular, but if you just use this as, say for example, as a range to play, this is granular. This one I choose is granular. But say for example, the moment this high goes, then we can see that order flow kind of switching from this bearish order flow leg. When I say bearish order flow leg, let me just make sure I plot it exactly so you can see, right? Magnet mode on, so wherever my cursor goes, and you can just pass. But this could be easily, like, just place this candle instead. But you can see high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high. But this high more or less invalidates this high, or where this high is formed. It kind of take out the highest high that was just before it. So in such instances, we can see that it's like a switch in momentum happening, or that's what we can regard as a switch in momentum. Once we get these type of situations happening, we know for certain weight. We know where this this might be indeed an order flow range low to play from. But how we know the high and top, as I say in them videos, is like supporting liquidation. If I use this as a perspective, as a prospective range, then I know for certain this high and this low. If it's 50%, or if I find highs that are 50% within the range, then that could be used as my support and liquidation. So I should know tomorrow, it's just a situation of just waiting to see whether or not between 8 a.m. and 12 in the afternoon, so 12 p.m., if I actually get triggered on the limit that was set the moment the support and liquidation is gone. Say for example, price moves higher. Yeah, so say if price just moves higher into these liquidity areas, then you know for a certain weight limits can be set, and they're just waiting. But the limits are not supposed to be set before 8 a.m. in the morning, or before my session opens, as I regard it. It's interesting indeed. It's interesting indeed. Sequence of events. Using one set of information, or one pain point to stack on top of the next to form a clear story. Order flow, simple. Price is objective. What price is going towards? Like, what price really trying to hit at? What's the intention? Like all these questions. I bet you just ask tons of probing questions. Tons and tons and tons of probing questions. So much that it becomes as clear as possible. Or as clear as can be. If that makes sense. As clear as can be. As clear as can be. But say for example, we just move on to the last sequence of event. Then once you get understanding of the range to play from, then the next event in the sequence will just be like entries and exits. So operating from at least 75% and exiting at the liquidity low at 0%. I hope that was a clear explanation. How I use sequence of events. In some later videos, I will go in to much more detail on each individual component. Probably just do a lot more in regards to explaining them, to be honest. But we move. And if you really want to become a practical trader and see these sequence of events and how I actually navigate prices delivery on a day-to-day basis live, take it easy. Take it slight, keep it calm. Join the live trading sessions. First link in the description. Nothing more. Have a good one.